94.1. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we got your high school football game of the week right here on San Antonio Sports Star. The Warren Warriors take on the Stevens Falcons. Jason Mannix will be on the call. The UFL announced today that the Brahmas franchise will depart San Antonio after 3 seasons, citing stadium constraints and focus on playing in smaller venues. While in the NFL, Sunday at 11, you can catch the Cowboys and the Jets right here on San Antonio Sports Star, while the Texans take on the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That goal is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pleasure wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. Now, here's Pledge. What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pleasure. Appreciate y'all joining me, however y'all may be joining me, whether that's 94.1 on your FM dial, if you happen to be locked in listening at sasportstar.com via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you're watching the show live on YouTube. All of our shows are live on YouTube, The Morning Huddle, The Blitz, and right here. Just go to YouTube, search SA Sports Star. Go ahead and like, subscribe while you're at it. You're able to comment along with the show like many have already in the bullpen, or feel free to call in the old-fashioned way at 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Always appreciate y'all rolling through with me tonight on a football Friday here on San Antonio Sports Star. Is lots to get into today, and it all starts off with, well, as it does every Friday, the morning huddle. Well, AJ and Rob, they get the chance to talk with the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And Brian Schottenheimer joined in. And it was very, very interesting because this conversation went a lot of different ways, including what was the big news of the day, that being Taylor Swift's new album.
One side of the ball, and whatever the opposite of elite is on the other side of the ball, what kind of football team does that make? Because it's hard to be a great football team when you're really bad on one side of the ball, but it's hard to be an awful football team when you're so great on the other side. Where do you think you guys are right now compared to where you hope you can be?
Yeah, the question is real. The question is fair. We're not where we need to be, and again, I think when you look at it, the main objective for us is to win. And with our record being 1-2-1, we've obviously not done that enough. And this is the ultimate team game. And really, I've always believed this, and I've said this to players on numerous occasions, that for you to win most games, remove the turnover battle and taking care of the ball and all that stuff, you need to win 2 of the 3 phases. So the 3 phases, of course, are offense, defense, special teams. And you need to be able to do that because that is what's called complementary football. And unfortunately for us, we just have not done a good enough job of that. There's been moments that the defense has played well, and we haven't been able to feed off of that. And then there's been times where we've scored points, taking the lead, and the defense hasn't been able to get the stop to put the game away. And a lot of it is just learning how to finish. And I really hoped that we were going to find a way to beat Green Bay and put that one away, because that would have given us not just the Giants, but a second game where, man, it was back and forth and all this stuff. And really the experience of pulling games out and winning close games, which is what this league is about, guys. There's rarely, I mean, I got home and saw the last few minutes of overtime last night. Like that's what this league is. It's back and forth, and it takes complementary football to find ways to win, and we're not where we need to be in that regard yet.
You've got a Tyler issue with a bunch of banged up Tylers and linemen. Give us the status of your Tylers and the rest of your linemen after your line came off. I think the best game they've had all season.
Yeah, they really did. And again, I'm so excited about where we're going with that group and the physicality that they play with, both the run and the pass protection piece of it. And that was a damn good front we played last week against Green Bay. We're going to play a really good front this week again, with Keenan Williams and guys like that in New York. But again, I'm not avoiding the question. We're definitely beat up as a football team. It's part of the deal when you have 2 overtime games, and you're 70+ minutes in 2 of your first 4 games. Today we'll know a lot more. I would say all those guys are doing everything in their power to get back, but I want to see them move around a little bit today, try to move around today, because today's our last day of kind of running full speed. Wednesday is usually a padded practice. Thursday you go shells. Friday, today you're in helmets, but you're running. Like it's a dress rehearsal. You're kind of hitting your red zone stuff, some 2-minute stuff, a little bit of your third down, your opener, stuff like that. So I'll have a better idea, but I think the bigger question is, maybe we should just, change somebody's name. I don't know who it would be, but the Tyler brothers they're definitely hurting a little bit.
Yeah, I could see. I don't know.
TJ's the first name in Tyler, is it?
I don't know who's going to volunteer, but I mean, is TJ Bass's first name Tyler?
Is his name Tyler? I hope not.
I hope not too.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't believe so. And he's definitely not going by Tyler if his name is Tyler.
Yeah,
John,
no.
like
Coach, this is a 2-part question. One is game specific, and one's about your philosophy as a coach. I'll ask that one first. Do you believe in we are what we are going to be, and this is my game plan, this is my vision, this is what I'm going to stick to, or do you change what you are based on your opponent's weaknesses? Like how do you approach those types of things?
Yeah, I think we always have a philosophy. Like we have a belief of who we are. We know how we want to play the game. We understand how we want to attack. We basically break our plays into really 3 categories, guys. We've got what we call primary, which they're going to be in basically every week. You have secondary plays, which they're going to be in probably, I would say, half the time, maybe a little bit less than half the time. Then we've got game plan specific plays that are very front specific, opponent specific, 3-4 type plays, 4-3 man-to-man plays. And those are in, I'd say a handful of times each week when you play an opponent like that. But you're always looking to attack the opponent. Like there's things that we know on both sides of the ball that the Jets do well. There's things that we feel like we have the advantage that we're going to try to take advantage of. But you never want to get too far away from what you believe in because, for example, there's plays that Dak just knows cold. And for me to remove some of those plays because maybe a team or an opponent has shown the ability to cover those plays pretty well doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because if you believe in your ability to go and make those plays and those throws and execute at a high level, I really believe that confidence is more important than anything.
The reason why I asked that is one of the statistical anomalies that I found this week digging into this game is you guys run zone coverage more than anybody in the league this year. And Justin Fields he's not great against zone, but he might be the worst quarterback in the league against man-to-man coverage. Do you talk to Flus and say, hey, I know we've been running a lot of zone, but this might be a week where we show him some different looks and see if we can change things up a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're aware of those numbers, and we have a great analytics department that gives us those things. And you are on your facts. So kudos to you. You've got your facts down for sure. But yeah, the biggest thing is that, again, what I love going into this matchup is, if anybody knows Justin Fields better than Matt Eberflus, I'd love to know who it is, just because of his exposure to him, being in Chicago with him for 2 years. He knows his strengths. He knows. What he does well. He does a lot of things well. He's got some weapons. They live with the running game, and then he's going to find Garrett Wilson and Mason Taylor was a guy that I coached Jason Taylor back with the Jets 100 years ago, and Mason was running around. He was just a toddler. But the answer to the question is 1,000%. We look at those things. We factor those things in when we're building our plan throughout the early parts of the week.
Looking at your offense is just clicking. What is it about Dak? I've asked you this question several weeks in a row, and every time I watch him play, there's been something different. What is it about Dak from week to week that you're seeing that is different, as far as staying locked in and finding different dudes at different times? I'm last week I was so impressed with his ability to kind of pepper the ball around in the second half, where I was, he tends to lock in on some guys. What is it about what you're seeing from him now that we didn't see last year? And give me your answer for this week, and I'll ask you it again next week.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I'll start prepping for next week's answer too, so I don't make it too boring for you guys. Keep saying the same thing. Here's what I'd say. I love how he's reading progressions.
Right.
So obviously progressions are when, you go from number one receiver to number two to number three, number four. And like what you're seeing is like, he's not forcing the ball to a George Pickens. Like a couple big plays last week for, Ryan Flournoy. Jalen Tolbert had a big 3rd down and 5 conversion on a shallow cross, right? And sometimes those guys aren't the primary option, but what he's doing is he's reading the defense at such a high level. The ball's being spread around, and he's playing like a point guard, man. Like, I was a huge basketball guy kind of growing up, man. And I'm dating myself, but like, dude, John Stockton, his ability just to run the show and push the ball down the field, and then Jason Williams, how he would go, and that's what Dak's doing right now. He's just the point guard of this offense, and he's distributing the ball, and it's going different spots. He's playing with great eyes, and that gets everybody involved. And when you get everybody involved, man, and the moments become big, guys know that Dak trusts them. And that's why I think, like, in overtime, the Jalen Tolbert catch on the sideline, man, what an incredible catch. Heck, I was getting ready to get my 3rd and 7 call ready, and all of a sudden my guys up in the box are like, dude, 1st down at the 7 or whatever. I'm like, what? It was just such an incredible catch. So that point guard mentality that Dak's playing with has been fun for me to watch.
It's been hard for some of his receivers to get his trust, hasn't it?
Well, I think it's time spent, guys. It is time spent, and it's communication, and our guys do a ton of talking so the way the practice works, right? We'll go out and the offense will run 5 plays, and then they come off and the defense goes out versus scout team and they run 5 plays. Well, what I've noticed a ton is the communication between Dak and the receivers and the tight ends and the running backs that they're having, talking about, hey, well, I thought you were going to do this. Well, no, I thought you wanted me to do that. No, I want you to do this. Oh, okay, well, I'll do that. And those are the things that we preach because of the relationships and having the hard conversations and stuff like that. So all those things are a big byproduct of the confidence that we're playing with right now as an offensive unit.
Despite all the PFF stat site that I'm sure you also see what you guys are doing there, but I fall back on a lot. It shows the Cowboys the worst pass blocking offensive line in the league, but a top 3 run blocking unit. And my thought was, Coach, when you start to lose bodies, the swing guys, I don't hate to say the lesser players, but the non-starters who are having to step up and take starter minutes. I know every offensive lineman prefers to run block versus pass block, and so it's obviously a lot harder to find elite pass blocker. But do you find that when your offensive line starts to get injured, you tend to lean more towards running the ball because that's what everybody's at least excited to run block?
Well, I think let's look at last week a little bit. Like last week, we were playing obviously a very explosive defensive front. And I think, we always want to be balanced. I think, you don't really think of it that way. You've got a plan going in, but like, you've got to be ready to adjust. And, like next thing you know, you come out of the game against Green Bay, you've thrown it, whatever it was, 40 something times. And, again, that wasn't necessarily the game plan, but we also weren't necessarily planning on being 70 minutes. But I do think that, like, there's certain types of runs that we're good at. There's certain types of passes that we're good at. And the depth of this roster, I have a lot of confidence in. I know Dak has a lot of confidence in. And, I think that's so important because, like, whether it's Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass, somebody gave me a stat about how well those guys have played together. Well, let's think about it. Those guys have been together now, I think, for going on almost their third year together. So, they've also done a lot of work on scout team together when they weren't starting, but like the communication and the timing and the brotherhood and all that stuff is real. And, so I do think you have to go in with a plan and be ready to adjust, but no, we're not going to be conservative. If you're down a couple guys, in any spot, it's part of the game. There's no excuses, and you got to go out and execute.
All right. That is Coach Brian Schottenheimer. Coach, I don't know if I should say congratulations on the tie. I mean, it beats one of the alternatives. I mean, so I'm sure you've had better and worse weeks since being the coach of the Cowboys, but as a good football team, you guys had a tie with.
Yeah, and you've been asked a lot. Would you change the rules?
Yeah. Well, again, first of all, yeah, I don't know how to take the tie. I really don't. But like the process for me is always the same. Whether you win, whether you lose, and now, I mean, I can't remember the last tie I had. I think it was back in like 1997 when I was with the Chiefs, I think. But again, would I change the rules? I don't know. I mean, I maybe would add a little bit more time to overtime. But again, I think at the end of the day, we're on to New York, and whether you win, lose, or tie, man, this league, there's always something humbling coming around the corner versus the next opponent, so you got to get ready.
Well, Coach, I'm going to leave you with that homework. Get that new Taylor Swift album in, and let us know what your favorite banger is off that thing by next week. Well, I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely, I'll have it rated for you guys. I'll have listened to it, and I'll be ready to go.
Do you have an all-time favorite Taylor song?
Man. So my daughter would kill me for freezing up in the moment like this.
No, you earn points in my book that you don't.
Yeah, Rob doesn't know one either.
Well done.
Mine's mean. Why you got to be so mean? I just think it's a classic. Yeah.
I will say this: my daughter, I've taken my daughter and my family to 2 different Taylor Swift concerts, and I hum the words. I don't really know the words, but I hum the words.
Well, Coach, I got a blank space, baby. I'll write your name in for next week, and we'll talk to you again.
That song. Good job.
Wow. We'll pencil you into that blank space next week, right here, 8:30. We'll do it again. Thank you for the time. We'll talk to you next week, Coach.
Thanks, Sean.
Take care, guys.
That was head coach Brian Schottenheimer, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, 225-2121, online, mybestbailbonds.com. Good stuff from Shotty. He was in a good mood. They're going into a game that, while it's on the road, while they are injury depleted, feels like this is a game they should get on Sunday. So we'll find out. Early kick up there in New York, 11 a.m. on the pregame, which you can catch right here on your home for the Dallas Cowboys, San Antonio Sports Star. Of course, Cowboys football on San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you in part by AA Best Bail Bonds, the Davis Law Firm, Hornitos Tequila, Connecticut, and Jim Beam. When we come back, college football is tomorrow, and the Texas A&M Aggies are sitting in a really good spot as the 6th-ranked team in the country and hold their playoff destiny in their own hands the rest of the way, being at number 6. Plus, Marcel Reed. Is he struggling against zone defense? Well, who will have the answers to those questions is the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco. He was on with the Blitz a little bit earlier today. We'll hear from the voice of the Aggies coming up next right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and AARP Texas are sending Cowboy fans to Jerry World to see America's team play all season long. How do you get in on the action? Head to sasportstar.com now and register to win. sasportstar.com. Live it up with the boys in the Big D from AARP Texas and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Guys, it's October, and that means it's time for Oktoberfest, which means in Texas, it's time for Carboktoberfest. That's right. It's an authentic Bavarian-style Marzen mashed with Vienna and Munich malts, cold fermented, and then aged for 6 weeks. This glass of malty deliciousness comes in at right around 5.5% ABV, features traditional hops imported straight from Germany to the Karbach Brewery there in Houston, Texas. Carboktoberfest pairs well with pretzels, bratwurst, but it tastes mighty fine on its own as well. Carboktoberfest, a Texas cheers to beers. It's here for a good time, not for a long time. You'll be able to find it all around town here in San Antonio, as well as their other fine offerings. We've got Love Street, that's their Kolsch style blonde, Hopadillo, their flagship IPA, Crawford Bock, Ziegenbock. There's something for everyone in their lineup. Find it all over town, all the stores, but also at select bars and accounts as well. When you're out and about, you're doing your thing, it's always better with a Karbach.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm. How can I help?
That guy pulled out in front of me out of nowhere. The police are on their way, but I'm really shaken up.
Don't worry. We're going to get you taken care of. You made the right call.
I'm Jeff Davis. If you've been hurt in a car, truck, or 18-wheeler wreck, call Davis Law Firm at 444-4444. We're ready to help day or night, and there's no fee unless we win.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Online, sasportstar.com, and on YouTube at SA Sports Star. Appreciate y'all for riding along with me this evening. Earlier today on the Blitz, Jason and Joe got joined by the voice of the Aggies ahead of their game up against Mississippi State. Big one for the Aggies, not to try and trip up And coming off a very, very gutty win against Auburn, Jason and Joe were talking to the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco, about that.
Boy, there it is again, Jason, that velvety voice of one Andrew Monaco. Yes, the Aggies. We're at Gus Stadium getting ready for high school football. Andrew Monaco in Aggie land tomorrow.
Absolutely. It feels like this long home stretch, although it will eventually come to an end, but another home game tomorrow. Let's talk about it with the velvety voice of the Texas A&M Aggies, Andrew Monaco on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Howdy.
Howdy, my friend. Do you guys just have to wait 7 days for another velvety voice? Or is there one in between?
You're
Friday
one of a kind, my friend. One of a kind.
I've heard that a time or two.
You're too expensive to book on a Tuesday and a Friday.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we settle for once a week.
Big game last week, Andrew,
Yeah.
Although it was an ugly game. And I say that with all due respect to the Aggies. They come out with a win, but they showed that they could win a game that was really just defensive and ugly, for lack of better words.
Yeah, they left a lot of points out there, did they not? They left a lot of yards out there, and the 13 penalties is way too many for A&M. They let Auburn hang around for this defense, and the defensive line was able to set the tone against Auburn. And I truly believe they did not think Auburn was going to score. It took a 73-yard interception to set up Auburn at the 2, and that's the only touchdown that they get. They got a field goal. I thought the defense was outstanding to stop Auburn all 13 times on third down, to stop them twice on fourth down. I think you could see, again, it was a question after Notre Dame that you had given up 40 points in that one, and your offense, I don't want to say rescued, but let's use it, rescued you and made the winning drive. This time it was the defense. Guys, we hadn't seen that from this team. There were times that they had lost some games late last year. Look, the last time they played Auburn drove for the game-tying field goal, and before it went into 4 overtimes. And USC wins the Las Vegas Bowl with a drive at the end. It was the defense who got really not 1, but 2 stops in just over the final 2 minutes. And I think it was a great sign that you could see that defensive line win. I thought both lines really won the line of scrimmage. I thought the offensive line, they were able to run effectively with Le'Veon Moss. I think that defensive line certainly won that line of scrimmage against the Auburn offensive line. And to me, that defense had a lot of confidence that the Tigers just were not going to score at the end of that game.
And you look at the confidence of the defense, the way they held the third down defense. Is it fair to start bringing comparisons to the Wrecking Crew defense?
Yeah, it's interesting, Jason, because when Mike Elko was here as the defensive coordinator, he never ran from that. Now he knows, how mythical it is and the mystique that goes around that, what R.C. Slocum had with that Wrecking Crew defense. And look, you guys know Dat Win, who was a part of it. So yeah. It's something, but you can't do it just 1 week. You know what I mean? Like that's the beauty of the Wrecking Crew, is that was for years. That's how good it was. And Mike has said that in the past, that when he's had some of those teams, but that's what he wants to build. And the reason why I say that is he doesn't run away from it. Like to him, that is a badge of honor to have that name like it. Now, there were times that they would say, look, Wrecking Crew's the Wrecking Crew. We need another name, but they don't mind Wrecking Crew 2, things like that. But that's what Mike Elko, I think, brings. The type of defense is, it's an aggressive defense. It doesn't sit back. It will bring pressure, and you just don't know where it's coming from. It's not from the same position every time, but also if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you've got Deion Hayes winning his battle, hey, we're going to keep doing that until Auburn either keeps the running back in to make that block or an extra tight end, something like that. And I like the way they've adjusted over the course of games as well. But Jason, you make a good point. There are the echoes of that Wrecking Crew. Can you do it week in and week out now the rest of the season? Then I think it is something that you can kind of describe them. But again, that's the ultimate, I think, when you talk Texas A&M football defense.
Well, yeah, no doubt about it. And that was an amazing defense, certainly. And the Aggies played very well last week. A little bit better offense, I think, coming in this week, though, Andrew, when you're talking about Mississippi State. So another test for that defense. And the Aggies, and I know you're not into this, but unfortunately I am. The Aggies are a big favorite in this game. Do they like being that way, or does Mike Elko even talk about that?
I'm scratching my head why, because I think Mississippi State's better than Auburn, and I can't understand. I don't know what Vegas knows that we don't know. It is an offense, and with Blake Shapen, who we did not see last year when we played in Starkville. Van Buren was the quarterback, a young quarterback, and Shapen had played it at Baylor and really fits this Jeff Levy offense very well, and they've got some good receivers on the outside. It's the running game. Look, it's going to be a very different offense that they're going to face. They're not going to hold the ball as long as Auburn will. So that offensive line has to hold that block for a little bit shorter. And there's an awful lot of eye candy that this defense cannot fall under. They can't be so distracted, but there's going to be things like triple option. And there's going to be a whole lot that you've got to be disciplined on the defensive end. Where I think this is different from the Mike Leach air raid, and not that Leach did not take shots, that they want to score from far is one of the mottos for Mississippi State coming in, and they've got 10 plays of 30 or more yards for touchdowns. They will go over the top, and they will take their shots. And again, with a Brennan Thompson, with an Anthony Evans at wide receiver, they're good wide receivers, and Shapen can get them the ball. That's the test. Can you still be a good defense? You've had to learn now a different defense over this past week, and you have to adapt to that and be ready. 34 points against Tennessee. That's pretty impressive. I know it was an overtime loss, but I thought Mississippi State really turned some heads with the win over Arizona State in one of their non-conference wins, and then what they did with Tennessee. This is a much better team from last year, and overall, from what I've seen, I think they're better than Auburn offensively. I don't know about defense. Auburn can thump you now, but Mississippi State's got some returning players. They've got some people, but I wonder if that's where that's coming in, Joe. And Coach Elko, he doesn't care about that stuff. Yeah, but it is part of that noise, and I think you do have to address it because it is heard. But I think Mississippi State's offense is better than Auburn's. I don't know if the defense is as good. And to your point, yes, I thought that offense was very balanced last week to get that running game going. Le'Veon over 100 yards, very balanced at 207 rushing, 207 passing. But it was the penalties that really kept Auburn in that game. If you can stop that, and those are the hidden yards, not just the special teams, those hidden yards. And he joked this week. He said he's putting together a Cabo fund that you guys make NIL now. Yeah. If you're making the NIL, I'm going to get some of it. I'm taking Mrs. Elko to Cabo.
Absolutely. And look, I mean, how do you hold those accountable? I love the Cabo Fund, and I love the personality that Mike Elko shows. But to your point about this Mississippi State team, and I watched, with my kid just graduating from Arizona State, I'm following the Sun Devils. That was a heck of a football game and an impressive win by Mississippi State. And something that Mike Elko said this week on the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 is with the transfer portal, they did a heck of a job, and you can't take what you saw last year. You mentioned Shapen. I mean, how many schools has that dude actually played for? It is incredible. So, it's one thing to get them there, but can you get all these new faces to play as a team? And Mississippi State is doing that.
Yeah, Jason, and they got experienced guys too. I think that's the key. Now, whether again different schools, and I totally get it, but still, if you played at Northern Illinois, right? You're on a team that defeated Notre Dame last year. I know it wasn't the season that they wanted, but you have that, and I don't think you can replicate the snaps of 3 or 4 years. And I think there's something to bring them in. And here's where I give Jeff Levy a lot of credit. It's something to get them to play together, right? You have guys who are coming in who are believing in something. If they're just coming in for the money, good luck, right? Because then you just have guns for hire. I think he's able to sell a vision of what he wants to do on offense and on defense, and to bring those guys in and to bring in experienced guys, it doesn't surprise me. It's the coming together that I really give him a lot of credit for. The experience and the talent get you to 4-1, but I think they're 4-1 and with confidence because he brought the right transfers in.
Well, I think you're exactly right. And that's why I think this is going to be a little bit better game than maybe most people think. And I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. Now, again, that Aggie defense can step up and prove me completely wrong. But this could be a game that I don't want to say similar to Notre Dame, Andrew, but it could be that there's a lot of points on the board. I mean, heck, that Tennessee game had over 70 points scored in that thing. And I think we could be headed for something like that.
Yeah. I truly believe with both of these offenses. And again, I know it sounds funny for a team that only scored 16, but when you miss a couple field goals and you have a touchdown called back, now you're looking at 30 points, for Texas A&M, if not more. And to me, the game breakers on each side of these offenses, whether it's Bothwell and Booth at running back, as I mentioned, the Thompson and the Evans as the wide receiver. Traore as the tight end is a really good tight end, and that's the weapons. And to Jason's point, Chapin, he's got experience. He was the Big 12 most outstanding player in a championship season. That's what makes everything completely different. And the defenses are a little bit different, but to me, with that confidence on offense, and I think that's what the Aggies have. And Le'Veon Moss being more healthy than he's been, and they were able to ease him in. We're forgetting that, he tore that ACL at the end of October, beginning of November. So it takes a little while, but he looks like Le'Veon again. And you could see a little bit of that explosiveness of Reuben Owens. They didn't play last year. Reuben didn't play last year against Mississippi State. Last year, the Aggies, they won that game. It was a Connor Wigman game. It was the second to last game that he started. Marcel did not play in that one, but this time around, Mario Craver's in the other maroon. He's with A&M. Casey Concepcion's in this game. That's who Mississippi State has to face this season. Again, with those playmakers, I think it just puts both defenses. At times, I think the defenses are going to be on their heels, and we'll see how they respond to all these weapons.
That was Andrew Monaco. You can catch that full interview in our audio vault at sasportstar.com. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds. Andrew Monaco joins every Friday at 3:35 right here on San Antonio Sports Star. And they have tons of weapons. And Le'Veon Moss is one of the cogs that helps make that Aggie offense go. Their ability to run the ball opens everything up. And it's going to be very, very insightful to see how that plays out. Coming up, Major League Baseball, we are in the postseason. We have made it through the wild card and into the division series. What do we think about what's going to happen and who's going to be playing in the AL and NLCS? We'll discuss as we come back here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Dallas Cowboys fans, come on down! It's AJ and Rob from the Morning Huddle, and you could be the next contestant on
The Stat Is Right. Every week leading up to the week of the Cowboys home game, AJ and Rob toss out a Cowboys player and a stat from the upcoming home game. Passing yards, rushing yards, number of times Dak adjusts his wristband mid-play, or perhaps CeeDee Lamb mouthguard chews per quarter. Whatever. All you have to do is predict that stat, get the closest, and bam! You're headed to Jerry World with a pair of tickets to the next Cowboys home game. Think of it like The Price is Right, but instead of winning a blender, you get to scream, "How about them Cowboys?" inside AT&T Stadium. So study up, Cowboy Nation, and listen to the Morning Huddle to play. The Stat Is Right, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That's our philosophy at GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. Fat ones, skinny ones, curvy ones, fast ones, slow ones, round ones, and square ones. Yes, square body Chevys. We buy them at GiveMeTheVin.com. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now. Put yours in and get a quote. We'd love to buy it. GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/sports. QUO.com/sports.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
George gets justice. After an accident, a lot of people think they can't afford a lawyer. They're already stressed, hurting, or maybe out of work, and the last thing they need is a big retainer fee to get help. But here's the truth. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, you only pay if they win. Real help is within reach. Right now, call 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com. Principal Office, San Antonio.
San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Pro Football Pick'em giveaway is back. Head to SASportsStar.com and pick the winners of each pro football game every week to earn points for each correct pick. Highest points each week wins a $25 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. Highest points overall scores $1,000 worth of tickets from A Awesome Tickets. Pick the winning ticket of every regular season game. Win the grand prize, $50,000. This is an audience national contest across multiple markets. The 50K Pro Football Giveaway. Register and win at SASportsStar.com.
This is the home of the Aggies, and this is Andrew Monaco. You're locked on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
As we just heard from Andrew Monaco, and of course, if you missed any of it, go to the Audio Vault powered by A-Best Bail Bonds at SASportsStar.com. Check it out as they get ready for Mississippi State tomorrow. Game you can catch right here on San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by Just Pots. It all gets underway at 5:30 with the pregame. 6:30 is the kickoff out at Kyle Field. We know that it is postseason time. And I asked the question, who do you think's going to be playing for the World's, or at least in the championship series, as we have things set in the National and American League Division Series. And I can tell you right now, we'll have a couple of those games on this weekend. It all starts for us tomorrow at 12:30. We're going to bring you game one between the Brewers and Cubs, starting at 12:30 right here on San Antonio Sports Star. That game one is going to be here, and then we'll have game two between the Dodgers and Phillies on Monday over on ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Right now, those are the games we're carrying. We're carrying bunch of football, so it's hard to work those all in together. Just let y'all know. David Umfler says, I already know. It's going to be Yankees Cubs. And if that's the World Series, that thing is going to do massive numbers. He also says Phillies over Dodgers, Seattle over the Tigers. Seattle's the feel-good story. You got the big dumper there who's likely the AL MVP. I don't know. Dodgers, I know the bullpen's not strong, but man, they're strong. Like their lineup is strong. They just uncorked runs against the Reds, and it felt like a couple of times in that series the Reds had them. And then once that lineup starts mashing, it just continues to mash. And it's all led by, in my opinion, once again, the NL MVP, Shohei Ohtani. That's going to be the big one as we get ready for the postseason right here. The other matchups we got, Tigers, Seattle. Like I said, I love Seattle. And what am I missing? Yankees, Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays had a fantastic year. For some reason, I like the Yankees in that series. They're likely, in my opinion, not only going to advance, but take on the Mariners, and that should set up a pretty good ALCS. Over in the NLCS, as great as the Brewers have been all year, I don't know why I still can't buy into them. I don't know if it's the way their team's constructed and the small market way that they've done it versus the Cubs throwing money, trading for Kyle Tucker. But I feel like the Cubs are going to come away with that series against the Brewers, although I'd love to see an upset in that one. In the late one, Dodgers, Phillies, like I said, Dodgers can mash, man. The Dodgers just know how to continue to pour it on at the plate. As bad as I think that bullpen is, if they can get 6 innings and get a lead early, I think they're in a really, really good spot. But that's going to set up a very, very good set of interesting championship series that you can follow along right here on San Antonio Sports Star and over on AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. We'll bring you all the postseason baseball that we can, especially throughout the week. So keep it locked to find out who's playing where, and we'll have a pretty good idea where those series are heading as we get into next week. When we come back here on Extra Innings with Pleasure, we're going to put a bow on the weekend, get you ready for high school football as Warren is getting set. Just brain fart. Oh, Warren and Stevens. The Stevens Falcons, the Warrens Warriors. That's right. That's coming up at the top of the hour. Jason Minutes, Nick Solis, and John Robbins will bring you that coverage. But we got to get you ready for a great NFL weekend, including Cowboys, Jets, and Texans versus Baltimore. One of those teams falls to 1-4 and likely out of the playoff race. We'll discuss as we come back here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Sunday at noon, the Cowboys are in the Garden State of New Jersey, taking on the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. Pre-game starts at 11. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds, the Davis Law Firm, Hornitos Tequila, Connecticut, and Jim Beam. You like that? How about them Cowboys? 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
911, what's your emergency?
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month in San Antonio. 7 domestic violence calls happen every hour. The time to end domestic violence in our community is now. Step out of violence. You are not alone. call 211 for help. Call 911 if it's an emergency.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hi, I got hurt in a wreck, but I don't know if it's really worth getting an attorney.
Don't worry, you called the right place.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7, and you don't pay unless we win. We recently secured a jury verdict for $210 million in a wrongful death case. So if you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
Greatness is here. All 830 of our famous footwear stores now carry Jordan brand. So it's easy to score Jordan brand footwear and accessories, from hats to backpacks to socks, for the full family at a store near you. Famous Footwear's in-store fit experts will help you find the perfect style and the perfect fit, because every day is a chance to make it famous. Come in and shop Jordan brand footwear and accessories at your local Famous Footwear store today.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9047. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9047. That's 800-575-9047. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
94.1.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Appreciate y'all rolling along with me tonight as we get you ready for Warren and Stevens coming up at the top of the hour. Jason Minix, Nick Solis, and John Robbins will bring you all the action of that game, and I'll keep you up to date with what's going on and everything else during halftime. But until then, what's coming up is the NFL. Now, as banged up as the Cowboys are, I do believe they are in a good spot to be able to push the narrative and get their second win, go to 2-2-1, and be in a really good spot in not just the NFC, but in the NFC East as well. That's going to be really good despite the injuries. And Jerry said it himself, man, that defense started playing a lot better in that Green Bay game.
I saw our defense play better at the end of the game last week than it did at the first of the game. You could say, well, it didn't have far to go the way they were playing, but that'd be trying. We got better in the game, adjustments in the game, players adjusting, players taking better angles. all of that's going on. So I think that's very encouraging.
Look, it's going to come down to how much better this defense can continue to get on a week in, week out basis. And as it gets better and the offense continues to play at the level it's at, the Cowboys can be a very dangerous team in the NFC, especially as they get healthier and healthier and start getting some of these big players back. But Brian Schottenheimer's done a great job with that offensive line and getting them, no matter who's playing, to play well. And they've run the ball extremely well. And we're going to get our first look at Jaden Blue coming up this weekend, potentially. So that's going to be very big. And he's going to add a dynamic, explosive piece to that Cowboys offense in the run game as well as the passing game. And Longhorn fans know how good he was in the passing game there. The Texans, without Lamar Jackson, this is your best and only chance to beat the Baltimore Ravens, in my opinion. And they're just a mash unit and a triage unit. They got to get the win this weekend or they're done. This has been Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Appreciate all y'all for rolling along with me tonight. We've got high school football coming up next. Warren versus Stevens here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hola, mi esposo se lastimó en un accidente ayer. ¿Me puede ayudar?
Claro que sí. Estamos aquí para servirle.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7. Our team of Texas attorneys has been helping people injured in car, truck, or 18-wheeler wrecks for more than 25 years. And there's no fee unless we win. Y hablamos español. If you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels